Hello and welcome to yet another episode of Polygraph. We have with us our political editor DK Singh. This is something that has been going on for quite a few days, and now after Maharashtra, Bihar is all set to get a new government, and with Nitish Kumar, the chief minister, dumping its ally Bharatiya Janata Party, he has now already approached the governor with RJD's Tejasvi Yadav, and they are all set to form the new government. BJP, on the other hand, has already termed it as a betrayal of the mandate of Bihar's people as well as that of the BJP, while Nitish Kumar has said that BJP as an ally has always insulted him. Well, what does it mean for Nitish Kumar? What does it mean for JDU as a party? And what is the strategy of the Bharatiya Janata Party going ahead in Bihar? All these questions will be answered in today's episode. Let's begin with the first basic question. Sir, what happened?
Well, it was there. It was there for all to see. It was happening. Right after the elections, you saw how different camps were reacting. You were the one covering what was happening at the BJP headquarters in 2020.
Right.
BJP was jubilant. It was not because those results were great, because they had barely escaped through the majority mark in 2020 elections. I mean, they had NDA had 125 seats in a 243 member assembly.
Right.
JDU's tally had gone down drastically, and JDU was holding the BJP responsible for that. JDU tally went down from 71 to 43. So Nitish Kumar was sulking. Here you had the Prime Minister, Amit Shah, everybody at the BJP headquarters celebrating it in a big way.
Yes.
As if what happened. So the message was not lost on Nitish Kumar that BJP was in fact looking at better prospects in Bihar, and BJP, whether Nitish stayed with the BJP or not, I'm not very sure BJP would have gone with Nitish Kumar all the way together in 2025 elections.
Okay, what about 24?
24 BJP would have stuck with Nitish Kumar for obvious reasons, but then the kind of ascendancy that the BJP has been witnessing.
Right.
Look at the BJP's figures. I mean, why would BJP not try to expand if you look at it from this party's perspective? In 2013, Nitish Kumar abandoned the BJP. Mm-hmm. In the 2014 Lok Sabha election, BJP did pretty well. I mean, if you look at the tally, BJP got about 30% votes then and 22 Lok Sabha seats. And its alliance partners, LJP got 6 seats, RLSP of Kushwaha, they got 3 seats. That was without the JDU. And JDU was down to what? I mean, JDU got just about 16% seats or something. That has been the JDU's core vote bank. I'm talking about 2014. So when they went alone, let's look at their strength then. In 2014, what the BJP got, what the JDU got. Now, JDU's Lok Sabha tally was reduced to 2 seats out of 40. So on its own, JDU couldn't do really much. But if you look at the BJP's rise, 30% of votes there with 22 Lok Sabha seats, and of course 9 with alliance partners. It was a good show in 2014. But what happened in 2015? Well, BJP got a drubbing.
Right.
Because all these people came together. Come to 2019 again, they went back together. BJP is down to 17 because BJP contested less seats. But BJP again got about 24% vote share. And you look at the strike rate in 2020, again when they were together, the BJP's strike rate in fact went up from, it was about 34% in 2015 assembly election. It went up to about 67% in 2020 elections. So a strike rate of the BJP tells you that, strike rate means the number of seats you contested, number of seats you won. So coming to 67%, obviously BJP was jubilant. On the other hand, if you look at Nitish Kumar's or JDU's strike rate, it went down from about 70% in 2015 to just about 36-37% in 2020. So it was very clear for the BJP. BJP had a very good prospect ahead. Naturally, BJP was planning for expansion. But then, how long or what kind of timing it would look at for that separation, that was the issue. In the Lok Sabha, BJP probably wouldn't have liked to take that risk. 2024 elections are crucial. So BJP would have liked to go ahead with the JDU and then done something after that. Or in the meantime also, even before 24, if the BJP got the opportunity, BJP would probably have struck. I mean, this was the major apprehension of Nitish Kumar, that BJP would do to him what it did to Shiv Sena in Maharashtra. Basically engineering that large-scale defection and then forming its own government and finally actually pushing the JDU down. I mean, that has been the BJP's attempt for the last, 3 years at least. We saw in 2020 Assembly election how Chirag Paswan was used to pull down Nitish Kumar's tally. Chirag Paswan hurt the JDU on at least 25 seats. JDU would have got 25 seats more, but for Chirag Paswan. So the BJP has been at it, and Nitish Kumar was apprehensive that maybe BJP would not even wait till 2024. If they get the opportunity now, they will bring down the government, finish the JDU, and make it a BJP versus RJD fight. That advantage would have gone to the BJP then by 24 also. So either way, it was Nitish Kumar's loss. If BJP brings him down before 24, then again he is gone. BJP brings him down after 24 and before 25,
then also
then also he is the loser. And Nitish Kumar has been a big survivor. Obviously, you have seen like the way they were fighting. It was very clear Nitish Kumar was working for survival. He could see through the BJP's game plan. And then he decided to go ahead with this. And in the process, again, don't forget, I mean, he may be looking at other opportunities also. In 2024, probably he would like to be considered as a face of the so-called secular front or anti-BJP front, whatever, or post-elections, pre-elections, whatever. But he may have a good chance, and he is a very ambitious person.
So he wants to keep his options open.
So all his options are open for him now.
Well, in the course of this live, we will also be taking questions. We'll start with a few. Aditya wants to know, is Nitish Kumar the new Ayaram, Gayaram of Indian politics? And there's Paltu Ram also.
Paltu Ram is
something.
what Lalu Yadav called him.
Yes.
So Ayaram, Gayaram, yes, has been a long time. It was way back in 67 and it was used for just one MLA. But it was one MLA joining 3 different parties in the course of 24 hours.
Right.
He's taking time. The span is different. So he is stuck with the BJP for about 17 years until 2013 when he decided to part ways.
And just to add to that, there was a big poster. I mean, it has always been there outside, his office or residence, which said, Nitish sabke hain.
Yeah.
So,
but if you look at his entire career, call him Paltu Ram, call him Ayaram, Gayaram, it has been there. If you recall, he and Lalu Yadav went back a long way. I mean, pre-emergency days. They were together. Then in 90s, I think it was in 97, when George Fernandez, they walked out from the Samta party, and then he started fighting with Lalu Yadav. He replaced Lalu Yadav, Rabri, in fact, as chief minister later in 2005. Then again went back to Lalu.
Right.
Quit. Back again. So yes, his entire political career has been marked by what you call Ayaram, Gayaram politics.
We're getting a lot of questions. I'll try to take as many as possible. So the question that a lot of people are asking, I'm combining all of them together, is what is going to be BJP's strategy? Now that, do you think that they have been sort of,
I think they'll go full throttle now because there is no such compulsion of keeping one alliance partner happy. See, it's a fact that Nitish Kumar is not the same Nitish Kumar who came in 2005 or 2010.
Right.
His popularity graph has been going down. He has been gaining from the alliance partners he has been making, and he has been switching the alliance partners depending on what suits him. So BJP was entertaining him, in fact indulging him for a long time, but it's probably time where BJP sees that fine, I mean, we can emerge as the bigger party. I mean, in 2020, we are talking about the strike rate of 67%. BJP emerged as the single largest party. I mean, you may blame BJP for basically pulling down the JDU's number, but the fact was that BJP does have that popular support and it's growing. So obviously they will go full throttle now. They will try to expand everywhere in every constituency.
Highlight the betrayal of Nitish.
Yes.
Another interesting question by Rajiv. He's saying there are PK in every nook and corner of Bihar. Media and you overestimate him.
I don't know, overestimate him as a political strategist or as a leader. Probably as a leader, we have not seen of PK as a leader. So you can say we are overestimating him. But as a strategist, well, he has proved his mettle. We saw what he did to BJP in West Bengal. In Bihar again, 2015, I mean, you may not give it to PK, but fact is, he was the one who actually conceived this entire idea of the Mahagathbandhan. He was the one who brought Lalu Yadav, Nitish Kumar together. See, there is no nuclear science involved here. Lalu Yadav, Nitish Kumar coming together, their social basis coming together. It was a win-win situation, but nobody could think then that the two would come together. PK had made it possible. So, I won't say we are overestimating him. In today's situation, I don't know what his role he is playing, because we don't see him anywhere, although some people are suggesting that he may again be involved, although we don't have an independent confirmation, and I have not been able to talk to him. So, we don't know if at all he is playing a role. But as a strategist, yes, you have to give it to him.
Another question by our viewer is, why is BJP not bringing up assertive leaders in Bihar? You think they lack talent in Bihar?
Yeah, Bihar BJP does not really have any face. So, but point is, you had somebody like Sushil Modi, who was deputy chief minister all through from 2005 onwards. He became a tall leader. He was not a mass leader as such. He has never been a mass leader, but he was a face, which was in fact withdrawn he was withdrawn from the government. He was dropped from the Nitish Kumar's team. In fact, they were teaming up together. He was brought to Delhi. Now BJP does not have any face who you can say has a base across Bihar. That's a major problem, and that's also because BJP started with Nitish Kumar. In fact, BJP was always under the shadow of Nitish Kumar. So even if for
the junior partner,
between 2013 and 17 they were separate, but that's not a long enough period for you to basically for new leaders to emerge. There are faces, say Rajiv Pratap Rudy, for instance. I would say he's a I don't know, he's a good orator. Comparatively, he's young. I mean, if you talk about youth, not young, he's in the 40s, but he's good. He could be a good prospect, but then somehow this dispensation in the BJP is not putting basically much premium on him. So then again, Nityanand Rai, we don't know, he doesn't have any big base. Look at leaders. I mean, you don't really have any big leader in the BJP. Somehow they have not come up, also because of this alliance politics that the BJP has been playing. So let's see in the course of next couple of years, 3 years, 5 years, who emerges.
Pranav Sai Koneru he has a comment and then he wants your opinion. He's saying, I think the RJD and JDU will make quite an impact in 2024 as they have similar identities. What's your opinion?
Look, somehow what we have seen when it comes to Narendra Modi's appeal, mass appeal, this caste coalitions don't necessarily work. So in 2014, for instance, even if that Mahagathbandhan was not there, BJP on its own got about 30% votes, 22 seats, which was just Modi's appeal. In 2019, of course, they came together. 2015, I won't put much on this 2015 experiment because that was an assembly election.
Right.
So we don't know how this Mahagathbandhan will work when it comes to the 2024 Lok Sabha election. Will that caste alliance work against Modi? We don't know. Because in 2015 we were talking about, stakes were there for the chief minister, not for the prime minister. So these are things we'll see. I mean, I can't really say anything definitive at this point whether it will work or not work. But yes, if you look at the numbers, arithmetically if you look at it, it works against the BJP.
Aryan Kumar Prasad, he's asking that, do you think NDA is dead now and it will just be BJP and those parties who 100% agree with what BJP wants to do, the alliance partner?
Yeah, for all practical purposes, yes, it's dead. I mean, you have somebody like, say, Anupriya Patel, who is a beneficiary of the BJP's largest, basically. So you don't have any major alliance partner left with the BJP. I mean, JDU was big. After JDU, I mean, who do you count?
And Aditya wants to know, do you think Nitish alliance with BJP has finally ended and they can never come back again?
I think the BJP will not go back with Nitish now. Even after 24, even if Nitish at some point of time he wants to, break his ties with the RJD, if at all, BJP won't really go with Nitish. Now, BJP, I think, is going to go all alone. It may go for some new allies, smaller parties. You may have somebody like Chirag Paswan, for instance. And because of JDU, the BJP was keeping Chirag out. Now LJP of Chirag Paswan may be back. Then again, we don't know where Jeetaram Majhi will go. And you may have a small parties coming together.
Right. Edward wants to know, JDU is also part of the Biren Singh-led NJ government in Manipur. Do you think JDU will pull out its support even in Manipur? Or it doesn't matter?
Not really. Because, see, in Manipur, it's all about who you have given tickets to. It's not like people in Manipur are voting for Nitish Kumar. It's about the local factors, the candidates you have been able to pick up. So if Nitish Kumar tries to do anything, there will be defections from the JDU in Manipur. So I don't really think that will have any impact in Manipur.
And what do you think it means for the Congress, especially with Jharkhand, how things are unfolding there also now, another state where it will be in power?
Again, you start hanging by the tailcoat that you have been doing in Bihar for a long time. So there is nothing for the Congress to gain. In fact is, as part of the Mahagathbandhan, you want to get a few seats out of this. Last time they got about 19 seats.
Right.
But in the process, what happens, it stopped working there because all of the assemblies are basically taken care of by your alliance partners. So you don't have any chance to expand or revive yourself. But then I don't see the Congress, doing anything else because there has not been any effort by the Congress leadership to really try to even revive the party in Bihar. So yes, they'll be happy that they are part of the ruling coalition. Not that it will matter much for them in terms of their political influence.
But as far as the BJP is concerned, what went wrong for it? I mean, if you talk about the central leaders, they are always in a commanding position. Were they not able to sort of assess Bihar?
I'm sure they did. And that's how you saw, Dharmendra Pradhan was sent there.
Right.
And that was in May. Just try to assure Nitish Kumar that we will be with you, because they could sense that sense of insecurity in Nitish Kumar after 2020, because that conspiracy theory that every JDU leader was talking about, which was to an extent true also, that how BJP used Chirag Paswan to pull down Nitish Kumar and how it may be doing other things to basically finish him politically.
Right.
And gain at his cost. So it was very clear. BJP was trying to buy time, trying to mollify him. BJP would have, as I said, BJP would have struck sooner or later. But in the meantime, BJP was trying to build organizationally, try to expand in JDU areas, as we talked about Prabhas. The 28th and 29th of July, BJP in fact sent its leaders to spend time in every constituency, including the JDU's constituencies.
Right.
So BJP was trying to do that on the ground, knowing fully well, BJP was concerned that somehow at some point of time Nitish Kumar might again walk out. But then probably the BJP must have been counting on Tejasvi Yadav not to join hands again, because in the last election Tejasvi Yadav did pretty well, and then Tejasvi Yadav would be looking to do better in 2024. Now he goes back with Nitish Kumar. What are you going to talk about in 25? Apart from anti-BJPism, I mean, he can't be again targeting Nitish Kumar if he is going to be part of his government. That was what I think the BJP was not really sure about. It was hoping that this Mahagathbandhan does not come back together. At least Tejasvi will not come back with this. But it has happened.
And Pranav wants to know, will the JDU survive after the spree of paltis that Nitish has done?
Not really, not beyond some time. Nitish Kumar is 71. Probably by the time we have next elections, he'll be 74, and we have seen his popularity graph going down. I mean, the last Lok Sabha elections also, in the assembly elections also, I was traveling all around Bihar. Nitish Kumar is just a shadow of himself now in terms of the kind of popularity he enjoys. I mean, today, 3 years down the line, I think JDU will be losing ground only, because he is not even propping up any second in command. You have Kushwaha there, he is being seen as somebody like probably he will do something, but again, he is not somebody who is being projected by Nitish Kumar as a possible successor. He is not grooming any successor. So with him, the JDU also goes. The day he decides to hang up his boots, JDU will start disintegrating, in fact.
So Kiran had asked this question, who do you see as future leaders in JDU? You partially answered. Another question by SR Mahesh is, does the anti-incumbency on Nitish, it will benefit the BJP in 2024?
Maybe, but 24 elections will again be about Narendra Modi, not about anti-incumbency against Nitish Kumar. But yes, Nitish Kumar won't be the face as such. I mean, it will not be his election unless, I mean, he must be hoping that 24 things should evolve in a way that he is being seen as a face and he would like to basically showcase that. But that's unlikely to happen. Anti-incumbency in terms of voting in Lok Sabha election, as we have seen, it has usually wherever you have Narendra Modi the face, you may blame it on anti-incumbency, you may blame it on other factors.
Right.
But the BJP tends to gain. I mean, we are going by what happened in 2014 and 2019.
This is something that the opposition has always talked about, that, ED and CBI, they are always sort of used by the BJP. And Hituraj Sahu wants to know, will JDU and RJD get more attention from agencies now on?
Well, going by the past record, I think they may.
And Tanmay Sharma wants to know, what will be the prospect of RJD?
Let's see, that's very interesting. Depends how. See, right now, power has become a glue, and Tejasvi again, he probably doesn't want to be in the position for the next 3 years. But what's there for RJD to take away?
Right.
Because in the last election, when Tejasvi did well, he was in fact talking about the failures in governance, how that so-called Vikas Purush has lost the plot, and how this entire development things has plateaued or is going down. He was able to capitalize on that. What will he do in 2025? So in terms of gains, except immediate power, I don't really see the RJD gaining much. Unless Tejasvi is hoping that, by 25, Nitish Kumar is, it's basically his graph is so much down that JDU voters also come to the RJD. But that's, I think, a tad ambitious, because JDU voters probably may swing more towards the BJP. So for the RJD, that has been an enigma for me also. I have been thinking about it. I have been talking to leaders also, but I am getting no clarity. Apart from power, what is the good thing that Tejasvi is seeing when he is looking at his political future?
With this alliance.
Political future, through this alliance, yes.
I'll ask last two questions. JDU is on its deathbed, says the viewer. BJP and RJD will be the parties. What's your view? And I'll just add another question. Was it a miscalculation from the BJP's end, or were they waiting for JDU to make this decision so that they can go solo and expand their base?
First question, I agree with you absolutely. It's going to be the BJP versus the RJD in times to come. So that will happen. As for the second one, no, BJP, I don't think BJP was waiting for Nitish Kumar to do it. BJP could see this. BJP would have liked this thing to carry on until they have an alternative in place. If the BJP could have done a Sinde thing to
Right.
to Nitish Kumar, to the JDU in Bihar, BJP would have done that. But it was not happening. Although JDU leaders alleged that the BJP was already reaching out to the JDU MLAs to basically break the party. We don't really have any evidence of it. But although knowing BJP, I'm sure BJP must have been trying. But probably the time was not ripe for the BJP. That's what that's what Nitish Kumar has tried to do. He has tried to preempt this thing from happening, just to stop any more attempt by the BJP to break his party.
Right.
That's what he has done. I don't think BJP wanted Nitish Kumar to walk away right now. So the timing has been a bit inconvenient for the BJP.
Well, thank you so much for such a detailed response. We are keeping an eye on all the political developments that are taking place in Bihar. Do watch all our stories on our YouTube channel as well as on our website, our stories from Bihar as well as from Delhi. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Neelam.